Hey guys, welcome back to Growin Crowin. So it's been a couple weeks since we did our very first garden/farm tour, and a lot has changed, mainly being we got our dirt in our raised garden beds that we repurposed from old hog feeders. So I was able to get pretty much everything planted in the garden. It's going to be a little bit different than when we had our in-ground garden. I just don't feel like we have quite the amount of things in the garden that we would normally plant, but it's okay. It's a good start, and maybe I'll actually be able to keep up with the weeds. So I did grab some video over the last few weeks, mainly this time of year. You know, like everyone, we're mowing the yard, we're mowing waterways, we're moving sheep around, and just trying to keep up with everything in the yard in between all the other activities that we have going on. So we're going to take a little walk around this morning, and I'll show you kind of the progress. I'm also going to work on planting my other Greenstalk because I haven't got that finished up. So I ran to Walmart this morning and grabbed some last minute plants to fill that. So we'll do that with you this morning as well. So thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so we'll do a quick walkthrough of the main garden. And again, these are the old hog feeders that we repurposed. And again, I can link that video if you'd like to see how we dug those out of a farmer's ditch and tore them apart, and going to reuse them for our garden this year. So the first one has cabbage, some kohlrabi, and some poppy seed in it. I did keep it very simple this year for everything in there. And you can see also that we have not done the mulch or the liner, you know, on the ground part in between everything just yet. So for now, we're just kind of keeping it knocked down as best we can. Basically, we just need to save up the money to buy the big old truckload of mulch. So that comes first. Until then, we got at least everything planted. So this next one is sunflowers and zinnias. In the past, I always put a row of sunflowers along this white picket fence, and it was my favorite come back to school time to have all those sunflowers. So this is kind of my way of keeping that tradition going, but staying inside the boxes like I am hoping to do. So far, weeding these have been, you know, pretty easy. I just come out and maybe do a quick walk through. This one has a little bit of grass coming up in it already, and obviously the seeds are really in the early stages of just coming up. There's zinnias, and some of them I did just do flowers because I've learned that if I make it a pretty space, I want to spend more time in it and maybe, you know, take care of actually the weeds a little better. Zucchini in this one, as well as some zinnias around here, around the outside of it. It seems silly to have only one plant in this big box, but the zinnias are gonna, or the zucchini is gonna, you know, get big and fill up that space really well. So that'll be fine. A couple of tomatoes in a couple of them. This one looks like probably a Roma. We do like the Romas. The Romas, they're just easy to process, and Aaron's not a huge tomato person, so it kind of keeps the juice to the minimum with those, and they're great for salsa, and he loves to make salsa. So I believe these are Cosmos around that way, around the edges. I need to get some markers so I mark them better, because we'll just see. Sometimes it'll be a surprise. This one's green beans with a flower in the center, and did 2 little rows there. Green beans is one of those things too. It's like super easy to blanch them and throw them in the freezer. So we'll probably, once these are done, do a second planting of them as well. Just kind of a must-have in the garden. This is another tomato plant with some zinnias around it. This is an eggplant. I have tried eggplant before and never had success in growing it, so we'll see. This particular one has marigolds around it. And this is the one, the center one, that I think I had just started planting in the very first video that we did. So everything seems to look pretty well, doing pretty well in here. The lettuce is just starting to come up, and it won't be long and we'll be able to cut that. Lettuce is one of those things that in the past I never did, and a couple years ago I think when I ordered from Baker Creek I got some free seed and tried it, and it's nice to have in those green stocks that we'll be planting here in a little bit. Are kind of the perfect thing to have lettuce in, but I had some extra seed, so I stuck it around this side. I did put it on the north side, so it's going to be in the shade a little bit more in the afternoon, so maybe it won't bolt so fast. And onions, and that's some dill that I stuck back in there, so we'll see, you know, how that does. So this one's a little more established, and I feel like, okay, this might be just fine, you know, having these raised garden beds as opposed to the in-ground. It just looks a little better once they get a little more established, I guess, where it's not, doesn't look so hopeless, maybe, I guess, than when they're first coming up or first planted. This is another tomato. I think in this garden, all of the tomato plants are the Romas. So one thing that I'll include in here too, and I got some video of it, when we filled these, we have from the sheep pasture, we had some old, you know, hay and compost pile that we every spring we'll clean up the hay from the winter, make a pile of it in the pasture so it'll decompose and we can use it for compost. So we had a pile that had been, you know, working its way into compost for probably about a year or two. So we actually filled the bottom of all these feeders with that old compost, and some of it was pretty wet, but that was fine because then we topped it off with that good black dirt that we had hauled in. And anyhow, so this little squash or pumpkin plant or something must have been in that dirt, so I left it. We'll see. I'm actually gonna plant some pumpkins in another spot, so I'm just gonna give it a shot and see what it ends up being. Maybe it'll be some cool little pumpkins, who knows, but I couldn't pull it out. So we'll see. This one here too is also zinnias. They're my favorite. They bloom all summer long. Actually, I usually submit a couple into the our local county fair, so I got some of those planted so I can do that. My goal probably next year with these feeders is to utilize all these little pockets at the bottom. This year was just kind of a let's get started, get that dirt in there, but once it's established, I'll be able to put a few more things, you know, down on the bottom, maybe some wave petunias, or who knows, something, maybe lettuce would be cool down there next year too. So it's a starter year for this garden, but so far I think it's going to be a neat place to kind of come out and hopefully enjoy a little bit more than our typical garden that just honestly gets overran come July. So we'll see. So far it's off to a good start. So our first Greenstalk that we have here, I did have that planted, and I believe I had it planted in the last video, but it's coming along really nicely. And filling in, these are kohlrabies, and they're doing pretty good, and probably won't be really too long before we'll harvest those. We have actually harvested and used some of the lettuce out of this, so that was kind of fun and exciting. We had BLTs one night, so I was able to come out and just cut some lettuce, and then the other night we wanted some salads with supper, so I was able to do spinach and that kind of thing. That's mainly what I love these for. I always pop in some flowers just for some color, but that one's filling in really well. The other one, I was just short on some plants, and honestly just hadn't had a chance to get anything else. So this morning I finally stopped and grabbed some stuff, so we'll get that planted here shortly. Watch out, Wayne. Watch out, buddy. Watch out. Okay, so I did already, you know, fill these with dirt, but they've kind of settled without having plants in there. So I have a bag. I'm just going to top them off and then get some plants in here. Walmart actually had some lettuce that wasn't bolted yet, so I did go ahead and grab that because I've been looking for lettuce seed, and could have swore I had some that I ordered I have no idea where I put it. Cannot find it. So they actually had lettuce this morning at Walmart that didn't look terrible. But so I'm just gonna top these off. When I ordered my Greenstalks, I got the little turn spinny thing for them, and that is nice to just turn it around. And I think they have wheels too, so like if you have it on a patio or a deck or something like that, you can just wheel it around if you need to. So I didn't really need that per se for our situation, but probably have to dig a little bit of that even back out once we put some plants in there. But for now, we'll just top it off a little bit. I do have a couple plants in here. This one's chocolate mint. That maybe, I don't know, who knows, maybe we'll make a little tea out of it or something like that. It just smells really well, or really good. So sorry, Walkie. It's a nice cool morning. We're supposed to get some rain this afternoon, so I thought I'd get this done first thing this morning and maybe have some extra rain on it once I'm done planting. So someday I'll be organized enough and do all of these by seed, so I don't have to spend so much dang money on actual plants. But for now, it is what it is. I'd rather have it full of plants and looking nice and pretty than just empty, I guess. So even if it's just majority of flowers, then it makes the yard look nice, makes me happy. So that's what that is. All right, I'm just going to start randomly kind of adding the plants and filling it up. We'll see if we have to go back through and add any more plants or anything like that later. Once the summer goes on, obviously we can add in radishes and maybe do like a fall garden kind of thing in here. That's what I did last year, and honestly it was the first time I ever planted anything for a fall garden. So if it's in the Greenstalk and that's what makes it happen, then so be it. I have some radish seeds. It just seems like I never get started that early in the spring. Totally full intentions, just doesn't happen. So one thing with this one here, it is set a little close just because when we made the little deck for this, we didn't really have the intention of putting one of these on there, but it doesn't fall over, or hasn't so far. It just kind of rubs on the plants a little bit as they grow. So and it does look like I got a few extra petunias in there. It was kind of a hard guess on what we were gonna fill in here, but put a color one up here. But I'm sure I'll find somewhere else to put them, or fill a pot somewhere, so they won't go to waste for sure. Okay, so I think we filled all the pockets. I'll do a little cleanup and then we will water it down good, even though we're going to get some rain, or supposedly get some rain today, just in case. And just since they're fresh plants, I'm going to water them from the top and then also sprinkle them in, from with the sprinkler part of the hose too. So one other thing I didn't want to forget to share with you was that literally 10 minutes before we were set to leave on vacation last weekend, Dahlia, our last ewe, had a lamb. I had checked on her early that morning when I got home, and I thought maybe she had a little bit of goop, but I thought, oh, I don't know, she wouldn't kind of hold still enough for me, and went back inside and packed and stuff. And sure enough, I came back out and she had this gorgeous little lamb out and all cleaned up and talking to it and being a great mom. She was the one that we got a little bit late, so I wasn't quite sure if she had ever had a lamb before, and maybe her first one, I'm not sure, but she did fantastic. So I went ahead and gave the lamb some colostrum paste just to kind of give her a little bit of energy, make sure she was up and going. And then our youngest son was going to be home to take care of things at home and do chores, so I had no doubt that she'd be watching it and just fine. And she ended up being a great mom and taking really good care of her. So our lambing season is now officially over as well. So I'll show you a quick update of the raised garden area over by our little greenhouse. The potatoes are looking really good. They need tilled so bad, but it's to the point where I can't really pull any more dirt out of these boxes. So some of that black dirt we have left, I need to just have the bucket put on the little Kubota so we can haul it over here and really get that taken care of. But plant-wise, they're looking really good. They're starting to bloom a little bit, so I popped some of those off just to encourage a few more tomatoes down below. The sunflowers that I planted here are coming up really well. These are the early girl tomatoes that I threw in as a just in case we didn't get the dirt for those other hog feeder garden beds, and the onion bulbs that I threw in between because we had just some extra ones. This little milkweed plant is taking over and I don't mind really, but I keep searching for some monarch caterpillars because it should be darn near time for those, but we haven't found any on this particular plant just yet. So I would think pretty soon we'll be finding some, possibly out in the CRP even. It's just been a fun project. As our kids were little, we would find them, and we had little books that we would read every year and set up a little thing and talk about them, and then watch them come out, emerge from their chrysalis, and release them. And actually one year we were going on vacation, and I knew it'd be about time where the caterpillar was going to emerge, so we took a chrysalis with us to Wisconsin and released it up there, which once it emerged, Walker, get out of there. Come on, Walk. Come on. Geesh. All the things. So the asparagus has since ferned out since our last video. I do believe, yeah, I had the strawberries planted in that one. Ella and I spent some time yesterday weeding this out. Once we get that mulch in the main garden area, I'm going to get that and kind of go between here, so that'll help with the weeds in this one. But the strawberries are looking good. The few little cabbage plants, we had one that didn't come up. Again, I keep seeing a little rabbit run around the yard, and clearly the dogs are not doing their job of keeping them out of the yard. But I think we lost one to a rabbit. So, if we lost one, I guess that's fine. So we did also harvest our garlic scapes, which now looks like I did miss a couple of them. Okay, we actually got quite a few. I honestly have no idea what I'm going to do with them. I know you can saute them up or you can freeze them just to have something that's got a little garlic flavor. I saw somewhere too that somebody made garlic butter with them, so that might be something that we do. So I'm going to do some research on that, and then we'll see what we can do with them. We did end up using some of the cloves. Aaron put some in some homemade salsa that he made, as well as in the crock pot for some cow tongue tacos. And then I ended up cutting a bunch up and freezing it. And we also sauteed some up one night and put it on top of a spinach salad. So they're good. Is it one thing that I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait till the garlic scapes are ready? Probably not. But if it's one more thing you can, eat and use out of the garden, then that's kind of a bonus. We'll have them in the freezer, and if we don't have garlic for a certain recipe, we can pull them out and use them for that. And the flavor's not as nearly as strong, but again, it's just a great way to use those up. So we'll have it. We're learning. And these puppies are being such a pain in the butt today. Come on, Walkie. Gosh. So I think that's it for over here. I still have rhubarb that I need to cut up, and actually this weekend is that rhubarb fest in Aledo, and I don't know that we'll run up to it or not, but maybe we'll make a rhubarb something in honor of that. So we'll get that done. So one thing I wanted to talk about too that I didn't want to forget to add in here is that we got our order of meat birds a couple weeks ago. As you can tell, they're out of their cute little fluffy stage and into their stinky, almost ready to go to the outside coop stage. So we just got to wait till they get a few more feathers, I think, before we put them out there. But it's been warm enough. We haven't even had the heat lamp on them here in the barn. We did the Cornish cross this year. We've done the Red Rangers in the past, and while I really enjoy those a lot better, as far as they're just a cleaner bird, these guys are kind of like I feel like a confinement hog of chickens, really. And we don't have the chicken tractors to put out on grass for these. Again, they'll get some fresh bedding tonight, and then in about a week or so probably go out to the outside area. So as they grow, you know, they won't be quite this little quite this rough looking. It's just because they don't have their full feathers yet. But we have never had such a rough go with these as we did this time. We ordered 50 of them, and we ended up losing, I think, right around 14. We started them on a meat bird food, which says it can be from chick to, you know, full grown, rather than a chick starter, but we were just losing them, and the only thing I could think of was it had to be the feed. So we switched them back over to a regular chick starter, and so far we haven't lost any more. So it's kind of a bummer when you spend that much money on the little chicks and then you just lose a whole bunch like that. So I didn't call the company we ordered them from because I don't think it was a chick problem. It was definitely the feed problem. I don't know. I looked up and see if there was any recalls on it, and there hasn't been on that brand since like 2013. I don't know if it's an old bag. I don't know. We're just about out of this bag of the chick starter, so I'm not sure what our next route will be. Probably to get some poultry protein and corn fines and feed like we do the laying hens. So they'll be able to go outside and do that. So hopefully we have some better luck with that. Yeah, we were not real thrilled with losing that many. So hopefully the rest keep going, and we'll have that many to put in our freezer come July, and Ella will show them at the fair and have good luck with that. So. Thank you guys for joining us today on our second garden/farm tour. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'd love if you hit that subscribe button and join us this summer as we continue to take a look and watch our plants grow and see how things change around our little farm.